Okay, everybody.
There we go.
Okay, all right.
Give me one of your great introductions, Henry, and I'm going to start the slideshow, and we're going to talk a lot about guts today.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, I wanted to thank everybody for coming on a Saturday on this live webinar broadcast. We've got some great stuff to show to you guys today. Real excited. A lot of role playing. One of the unique things that we're going to be doing, guys, that's a little bit different that you may have seen before is actually, if you can, we're going to probably have you guys post some live role-playing questions, and I may, if you guys are in a quiet setting, you guys can go ahead and I may bring you on to ask the questions. So very rarely does that happen on most webinars, but in this situation, I'll be picking out some people to go ahead and ask Claude directly some questions. But I want to go ahead and introduce Claude. I'm a licensee of Claude Diamond and proud to be it. One of the things that he has been working on here probably the past couple of years has been his update to the new gut cell system, which has basically exploded my business, you guys. This has really helped me out in regards with sales and in being able to do presentations and things of that nature. A lot of great information here. So I want to go ahead and introduce the one and only Claude Diamond.
Ah, shucks. Thank you. Hey, thank you. I'm going to start a few things here, and then I'm going to get right into guts and do a little introduction. But first, let's have a little fun. Okay, Henry?
That's right.
This is your old type sales call. Don't they look at us like that sometimes? Typical salesman. Some salespeople are still using old-fashioned gimmicks. Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Isn't it time to fall in love with the gut sales system? This is the way all my prospects treat me, Henry. It's time to have some guts in sales. This is the gut salesman, Henry.
Yep.
And here's my last video. This is a guy in Colorado. He runs 100 miles in one shot.
Wow.
Climbs mountains.
Yep, someone said nice sword.
So anyway, here we are back to the beginning, guys. My name is Claude Diamond. We're going to talk about something that changed my life. It's going to change yours, whether you're in real estate, network marketing, multi-level sales, whatever you're in, it's going to always be about sales. A lot of you have followed a lot of the gut sales system. I've been having it for years. And what we're going to do is talk a little bit about the guts history, how it all began. And Henry, feel free to jump in if you have a question to ask or something. When did guts begin? Guts began, oh gosh, about 20-something years ago. I saw my mentor using it. He would qualify and close people in one phone call. It was amazing. I tried to quantify it, put it into a 3-step system, because traditional selling, folks, I think we go out there and we give the same presentation all the time. We get so much rejection, and it eventually just even gets boring. We don't want to pick up the phone anymore. And I thought there was a real need to get back to honesty in sales, where we tell the prospect, hey, I'm a professional, I have great information, I can solve your problems. And we had to put it into a 3-step system. And those 3 steps I'm going to show you in a minute are agenda, qualification, and close. I'm going to go back to my book here, and this is Henry. This is a book that I wrote years ago, and I found it in the archives the other day, and I've sent it to a lot of people. If any of you have not received this book, it was my original guts presentation back in the Stone Age. I don't think I was old enough to drive. No, I'm kidding. But it goes into all the different aspects of guts, and it's a PowerPoint. It goes into the method. It'll go into the rules, the questions, all the different aspects. And this is for you guys, by the way. If you haven't received it, Henry, how do we get it to them?
Yeah, if they haven't received it, you guys just go ahead and send us an email, and we'll go ahead and send it directly over to you with the it's a PDF link, Claude, so we'd send it over to them in a link.
I can send it to anybody who doesn't have it. It has everything about guts in a nice, colorful format, and it has the guts philosophy, some of our rules. And just send an email to either mentor@mac.com, mentor@mac.com. I'll be glad to send it to you. It's in a PDF. Here are some of the guts rules, the guts moves, the staircase of success. Guts is a 3-step staircase. And I'm going to do just a brief overview because the point of today is an update. Okay, so I don't want to go over the materials that you guys have seen in the past. I want to go into new things, new concepts that we're utilizing in guts to qualify the prospect in the first 3 minutes. Here's my famous little 3-minute timer. And if you're one of my students and you don't have it, let me know. We'll send you one. We believe that we have rights in the sales process. The philosophy of guts is that we're honest business people. We have great information, unbelievable products. We can solve people's problems in real estate, and that we are not to be subservient or submissive to the prospect, okay? We know we can't sell everybody, but we have the right to put a value on our time, knowledge, and energy, and that's what guts is really all about. You agree, Henry? Am I on target here?
No, you're dead on target. You know, that's exactly it.
I'm going to tell you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, you're dead on target with that, Claude.
You know, the first step real quick in this review is the agenda. The agenda is like, and think of a little staircase with 3 little steps. I think I even have it here. 3 little steps there: agenda, qualification, close. Can everybody see that okay, Henry?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and probably expand it a little bit more, Claude. It's a little bit,
well,
if you can just click the little arrow button up there in the corner.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
God, you're so good. You know these things. This is why I have you, Henry. You earned your cheeseburger today. All right, agenda. Agenda is the first step, and what we basically do is we lay out an upfront agreement with the prospect. Most salespeople, they go right into the presentation, and the prospect goes, "Oh my God, I'm talking to a salesperson." Instead, we're going to be very upfront. Because guts is about honesty. It's about being forthright. We're going to just say, hey, Mr. Prospect, I'm going to ask you questions, and you can ask me questions, and it's okay to say no to me. I'd rather you don't say, I'll think about it, I'll get back to you, I'm going to talk to my spouse, my 10 attorneys, my pet rock, light a candle in church for inspiration. What I want you to do is just say no to me. Can you do that, Mr. or Mrs. Prospect? And I'll ask you, Henry, have you ever met a salesperson who told you to say no?
You know,
I'm still waiting.
Very rarely that happens, Claude.
So what we're doing with the agenda, the first step is just setting up the rules, just like the beginning of a sports game or something. We're saying these are the rules. I'm going to ask you questions. You're going to ask me questions. We're going to decide whether to move forward, whether my product or service can help you, or it's over. We're drawing them a roadmap. We're telling them up front what's going to happen so that at the end, if we actually stay with the prospect to the end, they don't say, I'll think about it, or I'll get back to you or something. We'll just get to a no. Guts is about the inspiration I got from my mentor, Max, who would literally do real estate deals in one phone call. He would get either a full commitment or a tentative timely commitment. We will have a meeting tomorrow at 5:30. I will get back to you about the contract at 2:30. Things like that. Just specificity. Did I say that word right?
Specificity.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
a Scrabble word. 8 points.
Hey, they're getting rid of Scrabble. Did you see that on the news last night?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, God. Amazing. Qualification. We need to qualify the prospect. We need to know, do they have the money to do the deal? You know, guts is a very kind of different system. When do most people talk about money in sales?
Usually when they talk about money in sales is at the very end.
In guts, we talk about it in the beginning.
Yep.
Because the bottom line is, if we can't do it, if they don't have the money and we can't do a deal, it's over. And why waste time? So why don't we talk about the money up front? We'll do some role plays on this, Henry. I want to do a lot of role plays today, so remind me if I get off track, all right?
Well, no, that's one of the things. That's one of the things I do want to bring up. Like I said, you know, if each one of you would have just one role-playing question, I could be able to get it out and possibly bring you on if you're in a quiet environment. That's really key, guys. So you have to be quiet, and we could be able to bring you on to do a role play.
Is well said. So we want to give the presentation in the end. We want to talk about the money in the beginning. We want to talk about the time frame for the prospect to take an action. Do you ever get a prospect, Henry? They say, well, I want to do this in 6 months. Well, what's the point in talking to them, giving a presentation, doing all this free consulting like our competition does when they're not ready to do business? So that's when we get to the point, and I'll talk about this later. We get to fire the prospect politely. We have rights in the sales process, and that's one of the biggies that I want everyone to take away from here. I want us to feel good about sales. I don't want us to feel put upon. I don't want us to feel like we're subservient to the prospect all the time. But the biggie is the needs and greeds, Henry. We've got to find those emotional triggers. Why should they want to do business today? And that kind of leads into my very important rule, Claude's $1 million rule, that people make immediate, passionate, emotional decisions today. They make those business decisions today if they have enough of a psychological trigger, if they have enough emotion and passion into it. If they're intellectual, they're probably going to think about it, do more research, and make a decision later or never. So we need to raise that bar by asking those $1 million questions with redirection, and we'll get into that also. So let's move a little faster here. The close. The close is when we confirm and we modify sometimes or change what we've negotiated, and we have to satisfy and review, and then we make them give us the order. Guts is different. We make the prospect want to buy from us rather than feel pressured or manipulated. The prospect goes, let's get started. How do we get started? Where do I sign the contract? They want to do business with us. They trust us. They feel we have a solution to their problems. So this is the 3 steps: agenda, qualification, and close. You'll see some others. Here's the master staircase. This all goes into detail. Questions are the lifeblood of the gut sales method. How do we ask questions? Open and close questions. Questions with what we call redirection. We're going to get into that a little bit later. A lot of prospecting. Go ahead, Henry.
I wanted to mention one thing, and this is one of the things, you guys, that you have to understand. Before you guys go into any meeting, you have to have everything set up, and this system prepares you for that. That's one of the things that you want to be able to do, is know exactly what you're planning on when you go into that meeting and what you're looking for, what's your end goal. And so this is a system that helps you keep organized within that meeting. And most meetings, Claude, as you know, should be kept very short. You know, you'll know in a very short time if you have a client or not.
Oh, yeah. Most people, when they go into a presentation, a formal presentation, or they go to the house in real estate and meet the prospect, or they go to somebody's home, they're carrying all these suitcases full of materials and things like that. What do you think's going through the prospect's mind when the salesman comes bundled with all this luggage and this PowerPoint presentation and all this stuff? What do you think they're thinking?
Well, they're thinking, man, I'm in for a long day.
Yeah, and they're thinking, oh, my God, I invited a salesman to my home. I'm never going to get him out of here. The gut salesman doesn't bring anything. You just go to the house, say, hey, why am I here? Let me ask you a few questions. What are your needs? What is your problem? What are you seeking to achieve? And they'll say, well, where's your materials and stuff? Well, I can go to the car and get them if I know what we're talking about first. What is it you need? What is it going to take to earn your trust in business? How do you normally make decisions? Do you have the money to make those decisions? And if you can answer those questions, I'll be glad to get all the materials you need. I'll go back to the car. I'll get out my little iPad, and I have everything in here. But when you look like a shark attack. What's that movie that came out this week with its raining sharks all over the place? Sharknado.
Yep.
And everything. I think that's what people, when people see, invite a salesperson or the person acts salesy, they say, oh my God, sharks are dropping in all over me. We don't want to do that. We want a different relationship. And you've heard me say this before, Henry. We want the prospect to see us as a professional, as their trusted doctor, their financial consultant, their attorney, their dentist, their religious leader, somebody they trust, somebody they show respect to. That's what Guts is about. Not being a salesman, knocking on door, numbers games all day long, but somebody who has knowledge, who is trustworthy, and is watching your back and going to help you resolve a problem with their products or services, whether it's buying or selling real estate or selling the infamous widget. You have a question?
No, why don't you go ahead and blow up that mind map there, Master Guts mind map.
We're going right. Okay, we're going to go into my little presentation. First thing I always like to talk about is the Guts philosophy. I believe we have a salesman bill of rights, ladies and gentlemen. You are the salesperson, come first. You're working hard, you studied hard. Most people have the intent of selling, doing business honestly, selling good products. So we come first. My good friend Zig Ziglar used to say, give the prospect everything they need, and then they'll do everything for you. They'll give you everything you need. Well, may he rest in peace. He was a great man, wrote wonderful books. And but I disagree with that premise. I think I've had prospects, Henry, maybe you have too, where I have just given them everything. I've been up late at night drawing up contracts. I've driven hundreds of miles to show them a property, and then they say, and then they gave the business to somebody else. Okay, so I think we have to put ourselves first. And yes, it's maybe a little self-absorbed, a little self-centered. But I think we have to put food on the table. We have to take care of our family, and that comes first. I remember I once had a lady at a speaking engagement, and she said, Mr. Diamond, all you ever talk about is money, money, money. I got into sales because I wanted to help people. And I said, ma'am, I think that's the sickest thing I've ever heard. Because if you can't help yourself, if you can't pay your bills, if you can't take care of your family, you can't take care of your kids and put food on the table, what's the point, right, Henry?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There is no tomorrow. There is only today, ladies and gentlemen. Do not sell tomorrow selling. Sell today. Get to the bottom line with the prospect. Ask them the questions and find out if they have the need, if there's a need or greed or a motivation. You have to find out the stimuli. You have to either find a need, create a need, or exacerbate a need so that you can get a commitment or a tentative commitment today. There's no tomorrow in the gut selling system, okay? We are always working for close or commitment today. No freelance selling. What do most salespeople get in front of a prospect? They do all this free consulting, and then what does the prospect always say, Henry?
Well, let me think about it, Claude.
Let me think about it. Let me check with a spouse, an attorney. I'll get back to you. Here's a rule, and this is definitely different from all the other systems out there. We do not give a presentation. No presentations, ladies and gentlemen, until you're ready to go to the bank, you're ready to close, you have a commitment from the prospect. You never go to a meeting unless you get paid, unless you believe you're going to get paid, or you receive a contract. Henry, I used to get in my car, drive all over the place in traffic, sometimes 100 miles or more, and people said, or either didn't show up, or they were late, or they said they'd think about it. Million-dollar gut salespeople know they're going to pick up a check or a contract.
Right. You know, Claude, you brought up a very good point. I mean, I came across a situation like that in the very beginning without the gut system. You know, I ended up, going out, just like you said, meeting the client there at Starbucks. You know, he had a house, didn't really qualify him. I was excited to go see him because, hey, I got somebody finally to talk to. And when I sat down with him, he basically explained to me, well, hey, well, what is this lease option? Can you explain a little bit more about it? So I go in for the next 30 minutes just talking about a lease option, how to go about it, the contracts, everything else. And then right after that, right when I just finished up, he said, well, you know what? Thank you very much. I got to go ahead and go now. And didn't get anything out of it. So I gave him all my information, my knowledge, my time, on how to do a lease option. So now he can basically take off and do it for himself.
Salespeople are free. Can they see you and me when I switch out of the?
Yeah.
Good, because I might be doing that. I hope that's not annoying, but I think people like to see us when we're chatting here.
Yeah, we're both here. We're both on.
Okay, and you got to ask yourself the one question: why am I in business? That's Claude's rule number one. I'm in business to make money today. I sell a good product or service. I solve people's problems. I am like a doctor dealing with a patient. I'm entitled to be compensated today. Rule number two, what do we sell? We sell solutions. Most of my students and people who have read my books know I've heard this already. So we've got to work smarter. We've got to ask the guts. I call it the chutzpah, the unmitigated gall questions up front, and find out, are we going to be the consultant? Are we just a free lecturer? Or are we someone who can do business with this prospect? And you'll see a slide later. I call it the 75-25 rule, Henry. 75% or more of the prospects that you speak with, you're not going to close today. So if we can separate, and that's called higher probabilities. Jacques Worth wrote a great book about that. And he said the higher why don't we work smart, eliminate the prospects who don't need what we're selling, don't want what we're selling, don't have the money to pay for what we're selling, or don't have the ability to make a decision about what we're selling, or maybe don't, not ready to buy it now. They need to buy it in a year from now. If we know they're not going to do business with us today, operative word, let's put them politely aside. Let's follow up with them later. Let's concentrate on the 25% that want to take us to the bank today. That's gut selling, working smart, working assertively.
Right. You know what? And I want to make sure, does everybody understand that? If you can, just type in understand in the answer box right there, because we don't want to go on, because this is a very important message right here about why we're in business. So if you can, just type in that chat box, yes, I understand, at this point. So if you guys do, just type that in there.
Am I supposed to see that too, Henry? Oh,
nope, I see it right in here. I got it coming in. Yep, understood. Thanks, Joe. Okay, there we go. We got Tony saying yes. That's good. We got people coming in and answering. Okay, good job, Karen. There it is. Okay.
Let's go. I want to get as much information across today as possible. You've got to watch my time here, Henry.
I will. Go ahead. Keep on going. Just want to make sure people understand that, because that's real critical, you guys. It's important. Go ahead, Claude.
Okay. There are no bad prospects. Max used to say there are no bad prospects. There are only, I don't want to say the word, expletive, deletive salesmen. I think it started with S, and it had a TTY in there. Yeah. Max said that we are the professional. We have to qualify them up front. You can tell a bad salesperson always blames the prospect. Oh, they misled me. They didn't tell me the truth. They picked my brain for 2 hours. And Max would say, no, it's your fault. And I always tell the story about me driving a couple hundred miles from New Jersey to Delaware to go to see a prospect. And then everything was great. We put on a pot of coffee, and I answered all their questions. I drove all the way back home, Henry, and then I couldn't get them on the phone. It was like I was a relative trying to borrow money or something. Okay? I kept leaving voicemails. Finally, a week later, they said, not interested. And I was furious, and I went to Max, my mentor, and he said, no, it's your fault. You didn't have the guts to ask the tough questions up front, and don't let them get away with these wishy-washy answers, maybe, probably, should, could, kind of. The best one I remember was, gee, Claude, we're going to give it we're going to give your product and service our highest consideration. I'm going back to the car in the parking lot thinking, wow, I got a sale. You know what I had? Nada.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing. Okay, sales is, if you need a friend, get a dog. Sales is not a place to make friends. You know how I feel about rapport and bonding. I have a slide on that too. Sales is a place to make money. Yes, if you can do it and be friendly and have a nice time, be polite and respectful to each other, that's fine. But that shouldn't be your premise. You're not going to win people over. You're not going to make a sale talking about how bad the Padres play or your golf score and things like that. So I don't believe go ahead.
Someone's asking, can you expand out that screen again?
Sure, I'll be glad to. Thanks for asking.
There we go.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
So, you know, sales is a place to make money. It's only so you're not supposed to find out what kind of person you are or anything like that. You're there to go to the bank. Our philosophy of sales is the salesman comes first. Just don't let and the prospect come second. Just don't let them know it. We're not a touchy-feely hug-a-tree selling. I think people will buy from me today because they have an urgent problem, and we put them on a scorecard, don't we, Henry? From 1 through 10 or 11, and if they're an 8, 9, or 10, we know it's important to them. We know it's urgent, almost like a toothache or something like that. So let's get right to the meat and potatoes of sales and skip all the touchy-feely stuff. Tomorrow never comes in business. Close today. Presentation and education later and tomorrow. This is the opposite, Henry, of most traditional sales systems where you educate. You give this $1 million presentation. You do very little qualification, and then what does the traditional salesperson do? They ask for the order. In fact, you got all these sales systems out there say, oh, you've got to ask for the order 5 times or more. And ladies and gentlemen, I think that's nonsense. I think you got to have a product or service that they want to buy because the needs are so great, or the perception of a reward. Am I in business to help people? I am in business to make money while I am helping people. Okay, the gut strategy of questions to the power. We need we need to ask a lot of questions. This is something new, Henry. I think a lot of times we don't ask enough questions, or we don't get the answers we want. We want to get to the truth. We want to ask again and again these questions, but differently to get to the truth. You willing to do a quickie little role play with me here?
Sure.
If I ask you a question, don't answer the question right away, and I'm just going to keep asking it. And this is questions to the third, fourth, or fifth power. Don't just stop at one question. You keep asking it. So if I'm qualifying you, Henry, Henry, could you, and you don't want to be forthcoming in your answer. You want to hold back for a while, for 2 or 3 rounds. Henry, how much money do you have in your budget if we can solve your problem today?
Well, I mean, it just, it depends.
It depends on what, Henry? Could you help me out a little, please? I want to help you, and I need to know if you have a budget set aside, and what does it depend on? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, if it's going to be able to benefit myself and our company.
Okay. Let's pretend for a moment. Let's use our imagination. This could help your company, help yourself. Could you share with me in round numbers what kind of budget we have to work with? $10,000, $20,000, $50,000?
Somewhere right around there.
When you say around there, do you mean 35, 45, or 50?
Probably a little bit lower.
Help me out, Henry. I'm totally lost here. I want to help you, and if I know what we have to work with, I can tell you if this is a practical solution or not.
Probably right around 25,000.
Is that probably or exactly 25,000?
I think it's around there. I don't know the exact number, but that's what we discussed.
Is there a way you could find out and get back to me by 2:30 this afternoon so I can help you and draw up a plan?
I mean, I could get back to you if I can get back to you at 2:30 though today.
It has to be 2:30 or I think it's over. Okay. See, I'm going to keep off the role play. I'm going to keep asking the penetrating questions till I get a specific answer. Because why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you putting up this defensive shield?
Well, there's just no trust. I don't know that you're going to be able to deliver what you're saying.
Exactly. That's possible. Or I just want to get a specific answer. I want to know your budget, and you're going to keep obfuscating, one of my favorite little words. Don't ask me to spell it. But I want to get to the truth. So we need to ask questions, maybe the same question in different ways, 3, 4, or 5 times till we get to the truth. I'm not trying to be annoying. I can't close you. I can't sell you. I can't help you if I don't have information. We have a lot of times we'll ask people about their mortgage. And Mr. Serrano, what do you owe on your mortgage right now? Could you help me out in round numbers? And you would say, None of your business?
Yeah, I would say, well, yeah, it's none of your business. I mean, what do you need that number for?
Well, because, sir, I might want to assume your mortgage, and I want to make an offer to buy your home today. But if you're uncomfortable giving me that answer, I understand, and I'll get off the phone. So could you give me round numbers? It's a mortgage is public information anyway, sir. I could go online or I could go down to the courthouse and find it out. But this would help me if I to make a decision to buy your home. Should we move forward, sir, or is it over?
No, I think it's right around 130,000.
Thank you. Boom. That's questions plus. Just keep asking those questions. That's one of the techniques that is in the new system, an upgraded system. We're going to be working more and more on that specific area. Let me get back to my page here. Make the prospect fall in love with you. When you have trust, you have it all, okay? And we need three things when we're talking to a prospect. We want to develop empathy, okay? We want to know what they're feeling. We want to be nurturing, okay? You guys have heard me say that a lot of times. And we need to do stroking. Stroking is the process where we make the prospect feel good. Do you ever have a prospect, Henry, go to you and say, oh, I screwed up, I did this wrong, or I could have done it better?
Oh yeah. I mean, all the time.
Well, when you're stroking, you're trying to make them feel good. Stroking basically would be where I say, Mr. Prospect, I've made that mistake. A lot of people I've worked with. Listen, you didn't do anything that a lot of other people haven't done. It's don't blame yourself. That's a stroke, okay? There's nurturing when you try to someone feel better about their situation. You don't want to be what we call an abrasive salesperson where we're attacking them or where it's getting. Do you ever get in a conversation with somebody where it gets a little contentious? They raise their voice, you raise your voice, and you just know you're not going to make a sale today. And that's what nurturing is kind of like becoming Kreskin. It's understanding what they're feeling and going through the whole prospect. Our job is to make the prospect fall in love with us, to trust us, and to believe that we have a solution to their situation. Prospecting, the agony of call reluctance. Have we all gone through that? Oh my gosh. Our biggest thing, Henry, I wanted to see your face on that. Our biggest thing is to make the convert our cold calls to warm calls, okay? And this is one of the best parts of the guts sales system, I think, because what happens when we don't want to pick up the phone? And every sales, you can talk about all the sales books, all the sales seminars in the world. You've got to talk to somebody sooner or later. An email is not going to close a real estate deal. Neither is a fax. Neither is texting all day long like my kids do. Okay, sooner or later, don't you have to talk to somebody?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you've got to talk to people, and the biggest problem I feel is a lot of people. This is like a cactus. It's like it's got little thorns. We've all had this feeling like, why do I want to pick up a phone and call people who are going to reject me, who are going to hang up on me, who are going to be rude to me? Okay, why do you think they treat people? Why do you think they treat salesmen like that? Why do you ever get phone calls at dinner time? What do we do to that salesperson who's trying to sell us aluminum siding, or take one of those innocuous polls or surveys or something like that?
We hang up or try to get off as quick as we can or yell at them.
All the time. Why? Because they're a stranger. They're an uninvited guest. Part of what we do with guts is we remove the salesman's stigma. If we know people are going to treat a salesman that badly, okay, maybe we shouldn't act like a salesman. What would happen if your high school teacher called you up after years and years? Hi, Henry, just wanted to see how you're doing. How would you react?
Oh, well, if it was an old school teacher, I'd sit there, I'd have a conversation. What have you been doing,
Yeah, how about somebody from work? Somebody, hey, Henry, just had a quick question about the project we're working on. You'd take the phone call, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah, I'd take it.
Your dentist, your doctor, your accountant, anybody you have a familiarity to, operative word, somebody you have a prior relationship with. Did you ever get somebody call? I was at a party 3 weeks ago, and it was a really nice cocktail party out in Devil's Thumb. It's a big a five-star hotel out here. And this is a true story. I just remembered it. This lady came up to me. She's all dressed really nice and everything, and because it was a fundraising affair. And she's, "Hi, Mr. Diamond, how you been? I haven't seen you in a long time." And she's yakking away, and I'm nodding my head. You know, Henry, I didn't have a clue who the hell she was. You know, and I went to my wife. I said, "Who was I was talking to for the last 15 minutes?" And she told me she has a better memory than me. Okay, but since she approached me, I just and was familiar with me. I just stood there like the little dog in the back of the car. I don't know if anyone remembers that anymore. Those little dogs we had in the back.
Yeah,
heads bobbed up and down. But so we have to start acting familiar in a different way. So if I call you up as Claude Diamond, the salesman, "Hi, Henry, Claude Diamond, the lease purchase investor here. I saw your ad on Craigslist, and I have a whole bunch of questions about your property, and I want to do a rent-to-own and put strangers in your home."
and hang up faster before you even got finished with your
Rick.
sentence.
But if I call you up, let's role play here one more time. Say hello.
Hello?
Yeah, hi. Is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
Yes, who is this?
Yeah, this is Claude Diamond. I got your number in front of me. How can I help you, sir?
I don't know. You called me. I don't remember you calling me.
Oh gosh, I'm a little embarrassed. I mean, you know what? A lot of people, this isn't about real estate, is it?
I don't
You
know.
didn't have an ad or something like that, or?
Yeah, no, I do have an ad for my house.
That's it. Oh, and it's sold already, of course.
No, not yet.
Oh, do you do want to sell it?
Yes.
Oh, I buy houses. That's why we're talking. Okay. And you mind if I ask you a few questions, find out how we can do business today?
Okay.
Are you sure? Otherwise, I'll get off the phone.
No, I got a little bit of time. That's fine.
Oh, God, isn't that nice of you? See, I don't act subservient, A. I'm always getting back. You've got to stand your ground, no matter, well, sometimes they go to me. I didn't call you. Go ahead and do that. I got your number here, Henry. You must have called me about something.
Oh, yeah, no.
No? Well, maybe you heard me speak about real estate or something like that, and you wanted some free materials? Oh, wait, I know what it is. Were you on my webpage, and maybe you wanted me to send you something? Or, oh, you went to one of those Joe McCall seminars, and you put your card in a goldfish bowl, and Joe sent it to me. Isn't that it?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, now I remember.
You just stand sooner or later. Do you think most people even remember what they had for breakfast?
No, most of the time they don't.
Ground. So the rule here is when you're prospecting, you can convert all cold calls to warm. God, I could spend 2 hours on this topic alone. Don't worry, I won't. But if we can convert the cold calls to warm calls and make the warm calls even better, like we're getting back to somebody, the prospect will treat us differently because they're going, "Oh, I must have called them, I must have sent something, I must have invited them," and you stand your ground. And do you see how much more, and there's a great video on YouTube that I did with Joe McCall that one time, where we did a cold call. I think it's had 12,000 hits already or something. And it was a complete unrehearsed cold call, and I got this guy, and I did exactly with him that I'm doing with you right now. You remember that call?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a great call. Hey, Claude, we got a question here real quick, and I know we talk about real estate, but it looks like Lou mentioned, because it looks like he does internet marketing and probably SEO work. He says, "Does this work, or do I have to change my sales strategy for selling Google AdWords, PPC, selling social media or search engines?" So he's in that field, as far as the internet marketing. So when he goes to these business owners now, Claude, in this situation, asking, for their business if they happen to do, any type of internet marketing, does this gut sales strategy still work in this type of situation?
It works for everything except that Google sales marketing situation, unfortunately. No, of course it works. It works for everything. Yeah, I always get a phone call. I had a phone call, oh gosh, a week ago. Guy says to me, "Claude, I like your system and everything, but will it work in Florida?" And I said, "No, sir, it works everywhere except the great state of Florida." It's something about the blue hair or something like that. I mean, seriously. Guts works everywhere, and you got to ask yourself. In his particular business, he probably sounds like a salesperson. I get those sales calls from Google all the time.
Yeah, it's incredible. I get at least
what I
2 or 3
do.
calls.
I do what everybody does. No thanks. Click. Go away. I either get a recording or I get a live person. The Moses, I don't know if everybody knows, I'm not going to get religious here, but there was really 11 commandments. Moses dropped one on the way down the mountain. He was holding those tablets and everything. And the 11th commandment dropped off, and it said basically that you can still get into heaven by treating a salesperson like crap. And so if we know people, you have 2 daughters, right, Henry?
Yep.
When they were born, you held your little lovely daughter in your arms for the first time and felt instantly in love. You probably said what I said. Oh, my gosh, here's my daughter, the future salesperson. And no, nobody says that. Nobody wants the children. They want them to be lawyers and doctors and things like that, and lobbyists probably. But nobody says sales, but sales is the highest paid profession in the world. So, but the thing is, when you meet a salesperson, we always treat them, if they're an uninvited guest, we treat them horrible. So what I have to tell Lou is, you have to change the way you're approaching people so that you get their attention, so that they feel like they've invited you in or you're getting back to them. And this takes practice, Lou. And if you want to give me a call, I'll give you a few ideas. I'll be glad to do that. I do answer my own phone. Don't I always say that? And let's practice it. But you got to change the way, because you have a great product to sell, because it can help people make more money, but you're not getting that across to them in time because they're going salesperson, click. Salesperson, I'm busy, call later, click. You're not even getting a chance to use your skills to sell your great product and service. I could do another seminar on that one too. But can I move on here to another
let's keep
section?
on moving, and expand your screen out again too, Claude, so they can see it.
I will.
There you go.
Okay. We close up front. Henry, I can close. Sometimes I have closed people. I used to see Max do it. He would do real estate deals and close people in the first phone call. So when somebody asked me, is it okay to skip around on the gut sales system, to go, maybe not start with the agenda, but if the prospect comes to you and says, I have a big problem, I need a solution, is it okay to close them first and then qualify and set the agenda and qualify? Absolutely. And this is something real new, Henry. I needed to talk a lot more about it. Guts is flexible. It's not written in stone like the 10 Commandments. So, Henry, if we get somebody who says, Claude, I'm real interested, I got a big problem. Like, can you role play that with me real quickly, Henry?
Sure.
Just say what I just said. Claude, I have a problem. I need to sell my property. I'm behind in 1 or 2 payments. I'm moving to East Bumble, Florida from Michigan. Can you help me? That's somebody who comes to you with a lot of need, a greed, a pain, and anxiety. Can you close them up front and then do the agenda and qualify later? Let's demonstrate that real quick. Go ahead, Henry.
Hey, Claude, I got a real big problem here.
Tell me about when you said problem, what do you mean, Henry? Help me out.
Well, I'm right now, I'm underwater on my house right now. I owe a lot on the mortgage, and I don't know if I'll be able to make the next payments for the next couple of months.
It's a problem a lot of people are having. Why are we talking today, Henry? What are we trying to accomplish in this phone call? I've got my little timer going here, and I'm sorry. What do you want from me today on this phone call? What would you like to see happen if dreams came true? If I was the tooth fairy and you just put your favorite tooth under the pillow.
Well, what I'm hoping for is if I can just get out of my house and not have this go into foreclosure.
If I could do that, if I could find a way to stop this, okay? I'm a businessman. I like to make a profit up front. I need either price or terms. If we negotiate a transaction that can help you or modify this problem, can you make a decision today, or do you have other people you need to speak with?
Well, I do have my wife, but I do need to get this done today. How do
you think your wife's going to feel? If I have a solution for you and your wife, can you make a decision today so we can do a contract and move forward?
Yeah, anything that would stop from us going into foreclosure should be for it, definitely.
Okay. Some of the ideas I might have might involve either a lease purchase, a subject to, different strategies. You might have to sign a contract today. You might also have to subsidize the payments on the property for a year or 2. Are you prepared to do these things if we can solve this issue today and remove this pain off your back?
Well, you think you can really help me, Claude?
What's that?
I said, do you think you can really help me be able to do that?
Let's pretend I could. Let's pretend but I'm going to need to ask you some questions, and I'm going to need to do a little qualification here. We're moving on the fast track, and we're going to make a decision today whether to move forward or not. Is that all right? Is that what you want? If I could solve that problem, could we move forward today?
Yes.
What? I'm sorry, I got a hearing thing.
Yes, I would.
Okay. I always make people repeat. By the way, that's my favorite trial clause. When I hear something positive, I always make people say it twice. Okay, and now I set the agenda. Okay, I'm gonna ask you some questions at the end of this conversation. You're gonna say yes or no. You're not gonna say I'll think about it, I'll get back to you. You can talk to your wife, but I need you to get back to me before 2:30 this afternoon. And I want to ask you some questions also about how much money is in the property, what's the property worth, and some other pertinent agreement. And we'll decide at the end of this conversation in the next 20 minutes whether or not to go forward. Is that agreed?
Yeah, no, that's agreed to, yeah.
That's a off the role play. Thank you, Henry. That's a close up front technique. When the prospect comes to you with baggage, deal with the baggage up front. Forget about the rapport and the bonding and the slideshow presentation and everything else. Get right down to the meat and potatoes. If he's got some pain, throw some gasoline on the fire. Make it worse and get those tentative or full commitments up front. I would see Max close all the time on real estate deals. I've seen so many situations. I deal with people in solar panels, life insurance, Wall Street, advertising, car sales, network marketing, and you've got people with, if you can identify the needs and greeds and emotions up front that are traditional in your business and utilize them, you can close up front and then go to the agenda and then go to qualification and come back maybe later to the presentation. So
Right.
This is the upfront technique, Henry, I was talking about. That's in the new program also.
Okay, are we about halfway, Claude, or we're just about the halfway mark?
The way I'm talking, probably 1/4.
Okay.
So I'll move a little bit faster. Assertiveness. Assertiveness is leadership. We don't have to be scared about being assertive. The prospect respects authority when it's reasonable and professional. Being a salesman and being submissive or subservient, it will not make you feel good. Did you ever go to a prospect, Henry? I did this all the time. I hated going to presentations because I knew they were going to beat me up, they were going to reject me, they were going to pick my brain for an hour, and then they were going to be non-committal.
Oh,
You
yeah.
cannot be successful in sales unless you are assertive, okay? You know, for many people, they think that being friendly or nice they're giving up their assertiveness. Assertiveness, if I could say it, is a way of thinking and behaving that allows you to stand up for your rights while respecting the rights of others in a nurturing way. You've got to, and this is, it's okay to say to the prospect, we can't do it that way. We have to do it this way. Henry, one of the first things I say to people in real estate, for instance, because I know a lot of real estate people love the gut system, I'll tell the prospect up front, I need price or terms. I need to make a profit, Mr. Prospect. If we can talk about things like that, that's great. If you want to just get your full retail and you're not in any rush and you're living in the property, it's over. We get this all the time. What was that role play we talked about yesterday, Henry, where the prospect said to you, well, what do you get out of this?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to bring up because that does happen. Why are you doing this, Claude? I mean, what are you going to make? Are you going to line your pockets? You know?
Yeah. Well, you know, this is America, sir, and it's free enterprise, and I do this to protect my family, to pay my bills, to put food on my children's tables. Why do you work, sir? Or do you have a job, sir?
Yes, I have my own company.
Do you work for free? I mean, or do you work to support your family?
No, of course not. I work to support my family.
So can I have that same right in this process, sir? Bottom line, sir, are you really against me making a profit if I can solve your problem in the next 30 days or less, or is it over?
No, as long as it's a reasonable profit.
I agree. It should be reasonable, and the point is I'm entitled to make a profit because you have a problem, sir. You have a property that's sitting empty. How much did you say you're losing per month?
About $1,600.
$1,600. What is $1,600? And it's been empty for how many months?
4 months.
4 months. 1,600 times 4 months, sir. My little calculator here says $6,400. Okay? Obviously you're not married, because if you did, your wife would have killed you like mine would for losing $6,400, right, sir?
Yep.
So, sir, even if I could save you that $6,400 or $75 or $10,000 and fix this problem in the next 30 days or less, it wouldn't be worth paying me X amount of dollars, would it? Or is that too much profit for us to solve this problem today?
No. I mean, if it's done the next 30 days.
I'm sorry, what? I couldn't hear you.
No, it's not, unless if it's done in the next 30 days.
Okay, boom, off the role play. That's assertiveness. Don't let, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, but my favorite friend in Niles Larson in Kentucky used to say, Claude, don't pee on my back and tell me it's raining. Okay, you've got to state what you're there for. You're entitled to make an honest profit, and if they're listen, if I was a dentist and it was Christmas morning and you had a toothache, is it blank check time if I open my office on Christmas morning?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Darn straight. Okay, so how great is the need? How great is the urgency in sales? If it's very low on the scale, a 1, 2, or 3, it's not worth it. If it's an 8, 9, or 10, go for it. Be assertive. Thanks for that role play, Henry. I will move a little faster.
Okay.
I'm looking here. I'm on slide number 15, and look, it goes all the way to 43. So I better move a lot faster here. Stalls and objections are closing opportunities. Okay? If we can, in most sales systems, what does a prospect do when they're trying to pick your brain or they don't want to make a commitment, Henry? They do these little stalls and objections. In most sales systems, you have to overcome these sales systems. And what does the salesman usually do? Aren't they what we call defensive, Henry?
Yes. Yeah, they become very defensive.
Very defensive. What's a typical stall or objection you get in sales sometimes?
From the client or
real
from,
estate?
oh, from the client or what I give? Usually from.
No, what the client gives you. Usually you're trying to do a real estate deal and they'll say, what do they say? What kind of objections do they say that stops the whole sale process from moving forward?
Well, a lot of them say, I need to think about it. I need to talk to my wife about it or my business partner about it.
How about a money objection?
Yeah, that's some of the things too. Is money. This
Okay.
is you're getting paid way too much, Claude.
Well, how much do you think I should? Let me ask you something, sir. How much do you think I should get paid?
I don't know.
Well, when you do, would you call me back and then we could go ahead and do business and solve your problem? Otherwise, it sounds like it's over at this point. What do you think?
Well, no, I just want to see if you're able to help me out, Claude.
Oh, okay. Let's do another role play. Tell me you don't have the money, or it's too much money, or you can't. Mr. Serrano, we need $10,000. Do we need? You said we need $10,000 in order to do a deal, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that money is not available right now.
Yeah, I just don't have it right now.
You don't have, but you do want to do the house, you do want to do the rent-own, you do want to do the deal today, right? You do want to buy the insurance policy. The only thing, if money wasn't an issue, you wouldn't want to move forward, would you?
Well, if it wasn't an issue, I would want to move forward. I want to get the house.
Off the role play, I just did what is called a negative redirection. I went negative, you went positive. Now
Right.
Back in the role play. So Henry, if there was a way we could solve this problem, what would happen next?
Well, I would go ahead and move forward.
I'm sorry, what?
Would go ahead and move forward.
I'll say all I have to do is solve that $10,000 down payment problem or option consideration problem or that money for the policy.
Right.
Okay, boom, off the role play. I got a commitment from you, a tentative commitment. Now maybe the money is a problem. Maybe I can fix it. Maybe I have the discretion to lower my price. Maybe I have the discretion to offer financing to you. But do you see that we hit a wall right now? You don't have the money, but maybe I know you have some money or a willingness to finance. Okay, and I did get a commitment from you. I tentatively closed you up front, even though we still have this big lingering problem.
Right.
Okay, I'm losing. You're getting a little echo there. But here's my question back in the role play, Henry. Henry, if suppose my company was willing to finance this, if you put something down and something per month, and you wouldn't want to move forward today and solve this problem and move in this house, would you?
No, I would. I mean, I'd want to.
And off the role play, stalls and objections. What you want to do is get a commitment and then fix the problem. If you can't fix the problem, tell them it's over. You know this up front. So this is a beautiful, this is an area we're going to go more and more into the gut system here. Eliminating upfront stalls and objections. In most cases, salesmen are defensive. With guts, it's a closing opportunity. It's a chance to go to the bank today. Be a guts contrarian salesperson. I said this earlier. I'm going to move fast through here. We don't give presentations. I'm the only sales system in the world that says no presentations. Ask questions. Okay? Presentations are only given at the end after you've properly qualified the prospect. Money should always be discussed up front, not in the end. Like why do you think most salespeople never talk about the money up front, Henry?
Well, because they're afraid of that rejection. You know, it's one of the things.
Yeah. Or they don't have enough prospects. They haven't made enough presentations. I don't want to screw the pooch here. I don't want to lose the sale because I talked about money. But if they don't have the money, are you going to make a sale regardless? No way.
No.
No. So you've got to have them make a tentative or firm commitment up front. That's in the agenda step. We talked about that earlier. You must originate, create, or exacerbate existing needs and greeds, emotions and problems, fears, or anticipation of future joy or earnings. Okay? We have needs, greeds, desires, anticipation of reward. Guts is different from traditional sales. It's 21st century sales. Bonding and rapport doesn't work. Do you want to be this guy someday? Okay? We don't, I've met salespeople. Did you ever go to a salesperson, Henry, and they come up to you and they're just, hi, welcome to ABC Hyundai dealership here or whatever, and they're your best friend in the world right away. And gee, what a beautiful family you have. Isn't it a lovely day? What a nice 1973 Yugo you're driving. Okay, and they do this stuff. What goes through your mind when you hear a salesperson do this kind of stuff?
You just want them to get away from you,
Yeah. In my mind, I'm thinking, this is a person who wants to put their hand in my wallet. They're being nice to me because they want something from me.
Yeah.
It's pretentious. And I think most prospects, when the salesman is too much bonding and rapport, they get defensive. They put up a wall. They don't answer questions. Anybody here ever get the prospect who says, yes, no, uh-huh, okay? That's because they're being defensive. So don't be a phony bonding. And there's a lot of sales systems out there that really talk about this, and I disagree personally with it. I think we just have to be honest, straightforward with people and say, hi, how can I help you? Why are you here in my sales dealership? Why are we talking today? What would you like to see happen? Do you mind? And they get talking, and that's back to the 75-25 rule. We want the prospect doing more talking than the salesperson. Okay, that's real important because it gets them emotionally involved. They share information, and we can decide whether we have a prospect or we got to fire them. Okay, so let's try to get more trust and be more direct and upfront with the prospect, and that works strictly out of the agenda step. The double stroke. Did you ever have someone give you a compliment, Henry? I think we spoke about this. I believe that accepting a stroke or a compliment from a prospect without returning in an equal or greater proportion is suicide in sales. And that's a direct quote that I have there. Henry, did you ever send a kid a $20 check for graduation?
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't send you anything back?
No.
Not even nothing. How do you feel? And you wanted to help the kid. Maybe you knew the parents or something like that. You sent them a little check in the mail. And maybe I'm old school. I expect them to say thank you. Yeah. Or send a little card or a note or at least an email or a phone call. When they don't do that, what happens? How do you feel?
Oh, well, you don't feel good at all, not appreciative.
What happens in sales if you get a prospect who gives you a compliment and you do not return it? The exact same thing. Okay, let's do it both ways. Give me a compliment. Claude, you're a great sales trainer.
Yeah, hey, Claude.
A little self-serving. I'm sorry, folks.
Hey, Claude, you've given me a lot of great ideas. That's really going to help me out in my business.
Well, that's good to know, Henry. Okay, off the role play.
Yeah, at
You're going,
that point I was
hey,
like, going, wow, what, I would basically say, what an egotistical bastard.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, now let's do it the guts way. Re-stroking or the double stroke on it. Say the same thing again, one more time.
Hey, Claude, it was great information. I mean, you really do know a lot of stuff in regards with sales.
Thank you, Henry, but I'm only as good as the people I work with, and thank you for participating, for being a good listener, and for giving me these stimulating role plays so I could really, work on my skills also. I'm only as good as the people I work with, and it's been a pleasure to work with you.
Well, great. Same here. Thank you, Claude. Yeah.
You love me! Okay, that's called a double stroke. You never accepting a one-sided compliment is deadly. You ever go into somebody's office, hey, can I get you a cup of coffee? And they don't drink coffee and you had a cup. What's going to happen? Same thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
What are you having today, Mr. Prospect? Oh, I'm having herbal tea. You know what? Can I have that too? I like herbal tea. See the difference? That's the double stroke. God, I wish we could do a seminar on this stuff too. It's so much fun. These are all the little moves, that psychological moves, because let me explain to people, I'm a student of Dr. Eric Byrne, Dr. Harris, I'm okay, you're okay. I love transactional analysis. We want to find out how to control our feelings and emotions and keep them in check, not get emotionally involved. Okay, but we want to find out how to make this person, how do we control the situation, the environment with this person, so that we can have a really good presentation, a good conversation. I see that look in your face.
Yeah, well, right here, here's your compliment from Lou. He says, "Damn, you're smooth, Claude."
Thank you, Lou. But took a lot. I had a great teacher. Seriously, my mentor Max. I was a guy who couldn't give away money on the street corner. And my mentor, Max, was one of those rare people, brilliant person in sales. Sales really is the million-dollar skill if you're selling a good product or service. And sales is like playing golf or tennis. I got a picture on that. I'll get to it in a minute, where you got to practice it and hone your skills. But you got to understand why you do these moves, as opposed to the amateur salesperson who just gives that written in stone, that rhetorical, boring sales presentation, repetitious sales presentation. We do things, everything we do in Guts, Lou, is for a reason. We do it so that we go to the bank more often, we have a lot more fun, we're not feeling abused, and we just learn to work smarter. I love sales. I've been doing it for the last 30-something years. It's been great for my family. It's paid our bills. It's given us a great lifestyle because I understood how I feel, and I understand how the prospects feel. But the downside on Guts, and I want to say this, it's not a perfect system. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of practice. Okay, just like playing golf or playing tennis or learning to ride a bike or something like that, you got to practice it to get good at it.
Hey, real quick, Claude, I just want to say, hey, guys, can you just answer back? Is this good stuff that Claude's given us? Just put it there in the box, you guys, real quick.
Thank you. That's called self-stroking, by the way, Henry. That's when you beg for a compliment.
We're going to keep it involved. There we go. They're all coming through. Yeah. All these people, great compliments. Yep, 3 words. Fabulous.
And I apologize for talking so fast with this horrible New York City accent. I just want to get all this new stuff across as fast as possible. So don't worry about taking notes, because we're going to send everybody a copy of this, aren't we, Henry?
That's right. It's being recorded, hopefully with GoToWebinar. Sometimes I know it has issues, but it's been working. But, yeah, it is being recorded right now.
Okay, great. Let's go back here and move along. Closing. Never, here's a good one, never ask for the order. Make the prospect want to buy. Make the prospect desire to want to purchase, to make a commitment today. The amateur salesperson asks for the order 4 or 5 times. I think some of the Dale Carnegie and Tommy Hopkins books, and there's a lot of good stuff in those books. Gittimer also, ask for the order, ask for the order. I think when someone is asking for the order constantly, I think the prospect goes and puts up those defensive shields and starts saying I'll think about it and stuff like that. Instead, let's get into their heads. Let's understand how they feel. Let's be empathetic and make them want to buy. Okay, so use the phrases like, where should we go from here, Mr. Prospect? How do you feel about that? What would you like to do next? How do you normally make decisions of this nature today, Mr. Prospect? This is closing gut style in 2014. I told you, a lot of these things are directly the opposite. A lot of times we get to do what I call firing the prospect. And, you know, when is it over? When the fat lady sings, are we done? Are we done, Mrs. Prospect? Have we finished yet? How many times in a situation the prospect doesn't need what we're selling, doesn't have the money, is not ready to make a commitment? What does the amateur salesperson do here, Henry? They go back to their presentation again and again, and sometimes the sales get contentious. I got to go. I don't want to hear it anymore. I'll think about it. Mail me some literature. Stay up all night and write a contract, and I'll review it and call me in 2 weeks. No. Sometimes the salesperson has to say to the prospect, it's over, Henry. You don't have the money. You don't have the need. You don't have the permission or the decision-making ability. I think it's over. I'm going to get off the phone here, Henry. Now, you don't hear sales, and this is once again an assertiveness in sales that is really necessary, not to bully the prospect, but to work smarter.
You know, Claude, that's a very good point, and I hope you guys understand that, because that's the thing. You know, everybody only has a certain amount of time of the day, and that's the key thing. You can't waste it, because if you sit there and you beg and you plead and everything for the order, if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen, and that's fine, and you just go on to the next at that point.
I want to talk real quick about, and this is in the new system, gutsy moves. Okay, what is a guts move? It's doing the moves that your competition would never do. It's when you have that little devil and angel on your shoulder, and the angel is saying, "Don't say it, Henry. Don't say it. They won't like you. They'll be mad at you." And the devil is just Claude Diamond on the other side of your shoulder saying, "Go ahead, Henry. Come to the dark side. Use the force. Go ahead and say it." What do people say? Let me talk to my spouse, my lawyer, my gerbil. You think about it and have a big problem. Henry, go ahead and say to me, "I need to think about it."
You know, Claude, I mean, it sounds great, but I mean, I need to think about this.
Henry, you know what? We made an agenda, a commitment up front. We did that little, we talked about it. And I don't want you to do anything you're not comfortable with. You came to me with a set of problems. You told me A, B, C, D, and E were your problems, and they were bothering you, and they were costing you money, and they were upsetting your wife. You either at this point feel that my company and my ideas and my solutions can solve these problems, or why don't we just say it's over? But you're not allowed to think about it, Henry, because I think you're putting my feelings above you and your families. Don't worry about how I feel. Does my product or service or solutions answer the problems that you came to me with originally?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it.
So is it important enough to take an action today?
Yeah, I mean, it would seem like it if it answers my problems.
Is the biggest problem the money we discussed? Is that the reason we're hesitating at this point, why you have to think about it?
Yeah, that's the main thing, Claude. It's the money thing. I can't afford it.
Well, maybe we can fix that. But at this point, you're not allowed to think about it, Henry. We have to decide whether we want to move forward or not. If I can fix the money problem, do you think that's that we could move forward today?
Yeah, I mean, if you can fix the money problem, yeah, we could.
Off the role play. You're not allowed to think about it. My time is valuable. You came to me. Okay? Would you go to your doctor? "Hey, Dr. Claude, my back hurts." I said, "Well, this is what we need to do. You need to do some physical therapy, maybe some mild prescription drugs. We'll do a little X-ray or MRI and decide whether or not we have to do surgery." "Well, I want to think about it." You're not allowed to think about it. You came to me with the back pain. Get out of here. Okay?
Yeah, Claude, that's a great point. And that's the thing I think a lot of us do. We go into the doctor. He writes us a prescription. We get it. We take it to the drugstore and do it. We don't question them.
Can we just, do we have 30 seconds to do the famous, "I got to talk to my wife"?
Sure.
And ladies who are listening, I'm not a chauvinist.
My spouse. I need to talk to my spouse.
Okay, we'll talk to her. I was going to do it. Go ahead. Give me that.
Hey, you know, Claude, you know, it sounds great. Everything's good, but you know what? I need to talk to my spouse.
Well, you know, my wife is in the room here. I just spoke with her, and she said it's okay to sell you. So why don't you talk to your wife and see if it's okay to buy? Can you get back to me at 1:30? And a lot of times they laugh. And I had one guy who got mad at me. He said, "You know, I went to my wife and I told her what you said and everything, and she didn't think it was funny." "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I was just trying to have fun here. You know, I did talk to my wife and everything. I didn't mean to offend you or anything." "Well, okay. Well, we want to go ahead and do it." And even though he said his wife was upset. We still move forward. Sometimes you want to inject levity, or when they say something simple, when they really say, I need to speak to my spouse or somebody, what are they really, really saying, Henry? What's inside their head? You got to be empathetic. What are they feeling?
You know, I mean, they're either feeling ashamed or they just don't want to bring out really the real problem, you know?
That's right. That's right. And it's your job as the professional to dig deeper, to get to the truth, to tell them it's up. Listen, if you don't want to do this, don't worry about my feelings. We can just say no at this point. But the problem will not go away that you're brought to the table today. Should we discuss it more and see if we can move forward, or is it really over? Boom. You're in charge. You're not submissive. You're in control. We're not trying to be a bully here. We're trying to be a professional and not waste time. How many times do we go back and forth and back and forth and we don't make any money?
Right.
Wouldn't it be better to have all the prospects we need to get rid of the 75%? And I'll tell you what, I'm not an egotist, but I hate free consulting. I hate being manipulated by the prospect. I hate the lying and the games that people play. Dr. Eric Byrne wrote extensively about games people play, so to be manipulative and stuff. Let's get out of that kind of selling, and let's have fun with it and go to the bank a lot more often. Okay, we're going to shock them with the truth sometimes, aren't we, Henry?
Yep.
I love this movie. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I can't help it. Shock them with the truth. Mr. or Mrs. Prospect, we're not going to do business today. It sounds like it's over. You don't want my product. You can't afford my product. Is there any reason we should stay on the phone any longer? Hit them with the truth. Well, why are you doing this? Because I like to make money, sir, don't you? Hit the truth. Shock them with the truth. Don't be the traditional sales guy who obfuscates, who dances around on the head of a pin. Just say, listen, well, why are you doing this? Oh, I don't know, sir. The Salvation Army was full this month. You know, just tell them why you're doing, and you shock them with the truth sometimes. Do you ever have that in your head? I know I shouldn't say it, and it's slowly working its way through your mouth. And I'm the guy, I'm the little devil says, go ahead, say it. What's the worst that could happen? When you have fun in sales and you say things that wake them up or shock the senses, do you ever you're giving a presentation, they go, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. What does that mean? They're asleep. They're not paying attention. They're not going to do business with you.
Yep. I call that the George Costanza move, you know, from Seinfeld. He just sometimes asks these obscure type of things, and Jerry just looks at him going, what does it go up in your mind every day?
The best episode, I love it from a salesman point of view, was when it was called Opposite George, I think, where he did everything the opposite. That he would never do. He'd go up to the beautiful girl on the counter in the restaurant and say, "Hi, I'm George. I'm unemployed and I'm 45 years old and still live at home with my parents." And the woman goes, "You know, you're the first honest man I've ever met. Can we go out?" Everything, and guts is a lot. I'm not trying to be a contrarian or say, I think there's a lot of myths in sales. Yep. I think we do a lot of things where they're still saying at the sales seminars and books, knock on 100 doors, and if 100 people say no, knock on another 100. I can't do that stuff. It's too boring, and it's unproductive, and it's humiliating. It destroys my ego, and I don't make enough money to get paid. I don't make enough to get all that kind of rejection. We've got to change the way we sell in the 21st century, Henry. Let's tell the truth. Let's have some fun. Let's have a system. And I'll tell you what, when you have fun, I look forward to sales. And I was the guy in the old days when I worked for Swift Premium. If it was raining or I couldn't find a parking space, I went home, man. I didn't want to confront people and do all the traditional stuff. So truth is better than lies, and shock their senses sometimes and sound different than your competition. Let's move a little faster here. Yep. Oh, no, the prospect has second thoughts. Henry, I know this has never happened to you, but have you ever had rejection and say, well, you made a sale, everything's great, you and the prospect are on the honeymoon, and then you close them on Friday, and then you get that phone call on Monday morning. What is that phone call, Henry? That phone call, you already spent the money, the commission or whatever, and you get a phone call. What is it?
Yep. You know what? We just thought about this over the weekend, and I don't think this is right for me.
And I'd go to Max because this happened all the time to me. Oh, no. Well, Claude, we stopped the check. We did this or that and everything. And my heart was literally breaking. I mean, because when you make a sale, and you know that feeling, you're 2 feet above the ground, and you make that sale, don't you, if you're like me, you spent that money already. Oh, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to put it here.
You spent the money. It's gone already.
And what happens on Monday when the prospect calls you up and says, and they have that tone in their voice, well, you know, Henry, I talked with my spouse and my attorney and my brother-in-law in East Bumble, Oklahoma, and they think I shouldn't do this, and and you're like, oh God, panic time. Whose fault is this, by the way?
It's yours. You know.
Why? Why?
Because you didn't qualify. You didn't qualify the prospect good enough at that time.
Okay, we have, ladies and gentlemen, you have to come to the dark side. You have to tell the prospect. You have to put the last nail in the coffin. When you're at the honeymoon stage on Friday afternoon and you're making that sale and everybody's happy and you're signing contracts and money's being exchanged, the amateur salesman is going to run away and say, I've got a contract, I'm going. He's running out the door. The gut salesman does it different. Role play with me, Henry. Henry, I am so glad we're doing business. You and I think I've answered all your questions. Can I ask you one thing before we go?
Sure.
Are you comfortable with this decision? This was a big decision you made, and I really respect that, and we've spent a lot of time discussing it, and I just want to make sure. I don't want you to get off the phone and go, oh, my God, what did I do? I shouldn't have spent the money. I shouldn't have signed the contract. I should have talked to my spouse some more. I don't want you. Do you have any feelings like that at this point, Henry? Because I want you strike me as a man of your word. I think we've spent enough time here, and we both made commitments. Do you feel comfortable with this decision you made? Because you're obviously a gentleman. I'm enjoying working with you.
You know, I am. I was a little bit difficult, but I think, you know, I'm feeling comfortable now after we talked.
Good, because that's real important to me. I know you're not the kind of person who's going to call me up tomorrow or Monday morning and say, I've had a change of heart. You're the kind of person, you're a gentleman. When you make a commitment, you stand by it. And thank you for being that kind of person, Henry.
Okay, thank you, Claude.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Are you going to call?
No.
Do you think there's a snowball's chance and you know where? How important is it to take care of potential problems today? This is why I call it guts, Henry. How many people are going to be very, very uncomfortable saying, no, Mr. Prospect, give me the contract back. Should I rip it up, Henry? Maybe you don't want to do this real estate. Are you sure? I got a shredder right here. Here, I can put it in the shredder. Are you sure about this decision?
Yes,
how many people are going to do this? But I'm telling you right now, if you take care of it up front, you will never get what do they call it, a renege, a renegotiation? What do you call those?
Yeah, I mean, they basically renege from the deal or renegotiate and just, have second thoughts in that situation. And that's the thing, because, some people, they're just happy to just get the paperwork and get the check and get out of there.
Exactly. And you can't do that. And in Guts, we talk extensively about it, and we practice and we role play so that this never, ever happens to you. This is a biggie right here. You've got to take care of any potential problem that's traditional in your business. Take care of those problems up front. If your if your deal is more expensive than your competition, deal with it up front. Henry, I don't know if this is important to you, but we probably are the most expensive company. We charge more real estate commissions than our competition. Do you know why, Henry?
No, why?
Why? Because when we do a deal, we follow up, big customer service. We make sure you get the right financing. We make sure you get the right tenant, and it's a lot of hands-on. So we do charge more, but there's a good reason for it. So you don't get the property back, so you don't get a damaged property, so that you get the price and terms and consideration that you want in the follow-up. Are you comfortable with that, Henry? Because we do charge a quarter point more than anyone else.
Yes. No, I do, Claude.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, I do.
Ain't I annoying? I mean, but that's the way you take care of problems up front.
That's right.
Let's move on.
Okay, and why will you move on real quick? Does everybody understand that point? Just type in yes. because that is real key if you're in sales, just to be able to, like what Claude mentioned, put the nail in that coffin so they're not coming back on Monday morning. Just type in yes if everybody's got it. Kevin's got it. Let's see. Marty's got it. Joe, Bill. Okay. You've got everybody else. Tom. Okay. Philip. Good. Okay, Claude. Perfect.
Here's one of our new techniques in Guts 2014, Henry. We call it the we can fix it later technique. The bottom line is to get a commitment, whether it's tentative or full, up front. Let the prospect paint themselves into a corner. Write it all down. Stroke them. Tell them we have a problem. And then tell them hypothetically we can fix it, and then you can fix it, or maybe you can't. I think I talked about this a little bit earlier, but you're going to get a lot of situations, Henry, where you're going to get objections and stalls, and somebody goes to me, well, Claude, I need this, this, and this. Give me 1, 2, or 3 things in a quick role play here, Henry.
Okay.
You're the prospect. Claude, I need this price. Claude, I need this location. Claude, I need 4 bedrooms and 10,000 feet. Claude, I need a CD that gives me a 6% yield.
Right.
Whatever you want. Make up whatever you want.
Okay. Hey, Claude, I mean, these are some of the things that I need. I mean, I need to make sure that the house, it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. I need to make sure it's at least a 2-year contract. It's going to take me time to qualify. And I need to make sure it's in a good school district because I've got 2 kids, Claude, that I want to make sure they're going to a good school.
Henry, you know what? Thank you so much for sharing all this with me. That's a stroke. Always give a stroke. People love strokes. And Henry, let's just pretend for a moment you want a good area. You want something that meets with your budget. You want to be in a certain school zone. You need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, so your kids, your family has enough room, and you have your budget is X. If I could provide all those things for you in a reasonable manner, would you want to make me your exclusive agent? Would you want me to help you move? Let's pretend for a moment I could do all those things. What would you want to do next, Henry?
Well, I want you to find that place. I'd want to go ahead and move forward.
Would you be willing to sign an agreement so I could spend the time and resources of my company, and we could move forward to get you the things that we hope you want, the things that you want?
Yeah, I mean, the things that I just covered, if you can get those things for me, yes, I would have no problem.
Now, off the role play, we just got a commitment. But in my mind, maybe I can't do this for your budget. Okay, then we go to Henry, then we go back in the role play. Henry, that's great. I'm glad to be working with you. There's only one thing. We have a problem. And I don't know if it's a deal killer for us or not. I have properties available in that area. I have 3 bedrooms. I can't get you into a property for $832 a month. I have something that's closer to $950. Is that going to kill our deal? I just want to be up front with you and get your take on this.
No, I could probably squeeze $950.
Probably or can?
I can. I could squeeze $950.
Okay, great. Boom. See, we came back and fixed the problem. But what's more important? Going back and forth and back and forth, well, we can't do that, and getting stalls and objections and problems, or getting a commitment up front and then fixing it. Okay?
Right.
You want to get a commitment so you know you're dealing with a viable prospect, and then you can always fix it later. Real important stuff here. Always end in a question. We use reverse psychology with stealth. We use something called positive and negative redirection. And this is something I talk about in my basic course. Those of you who have read my books or students or have seen some of our videos on YouTube, you know this is one of the fundamental ways that we control the conversation. We have a lot of fun. We go to the bank more often. We ask a lot of questions, but questions by their very nature, aren't they kind of aren't they annoying sometimes, Henry?
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh, when you get somebody cross-examining you, like in a police lineup or a courthouse or something like that, I think a lot of people don't like questions. So we have to ask questions, but we have to ask them in a certain way with what we call finesse, with the nurturing. We give strokes, compliments. If you ask me a question, I might say, good question, or glad you brought that up, or something you brought it up for a reason. I'll give you but the most important thing is to understand that sometimes, we're back to that contrarian part, that opposite part of guts. You don't ask questions in a straightforward way. You answer it in the opposite way, or with a question. Ask me, let's see something. Ask me a question, Henry. Claude, can I don't know, whatever you want. Ask me a question.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Claude, I mean, do you think you'll be able to get me that house at that price?
Well, I don't really, that's a good question, Henry. Thank you for bringing it up. Suppose I said that this is not really this is not really good for the budget that you're looking for. Well, let me ask you this, Henry. If I could get the owner to maybe come down a little and get it closer to your budget, you still wouldn't want to do a deal today, would you?
If you can get it at that price, I would.
Boom. Commitment. I went negative. You went positive.
Hmm.
Ask me, Claude, what's the difference between you and Anthony Robbins? Give me something like that. That's a positive redirection. That's always fun.
Okay. Hey, Claude, I mean, what's the difference between you and the other gentleman here I'm working with that's having these seminars every month?
Oh, okay. Well, I never had to go to the hospital because I walked on hot coals. But seriously, he's a good guy. Very well respected, good author, dynamic speaker. When you asked him that question, what did he say to you?
I couldn't ask him. I never saw him.
Oh, okay. But when you called me, what happened?
You answered my question.
You asked him my phone. He's a really good guy. You're working with him obviously right now, aren't you, Henry? Because he's got a great reputation.
Well, I mean, I'm working with his coaches right now.
Oh, okay. So I don't understand, Henry. If you're working with him and he's great and you're making all this money and you're having all this fun and you have accessibility to all these people, why are we talking today?
I don't know. That's a good point.
You must have called for a reason, Henry. Off the role play. You're going to now there's a transference occurring here. You wanted me to badmouth him, which is a very bad way to do real business in any way. I complimented him. I complimented you. I brought up, well, you're making all the money, you're having fun and everything. Now you're going, well, no, I'm not, and I got some other issues here. Now you become the salesman.
Right.
That's the trend. And now you do all my work for me. One of the premises of Guts is make the prospect do 75% of the work. Make the prospect become the salesperson, and let's just sit back and, oh, really, really? You give me everything I need so that I can close you. So we always, when we're talking to a prospect, we always want an end in a question. Isn't that right, Henry?
Yep.
Yeah, I just did it. Always end in a question and learn and practice positive and negative redirection.
Claude, we got about 20 minutes because I want to leave a little time here for.
I'm going to move unbelievably fast then.
Okay.
Gut salesman, accept the Academy Award. You have to be a great actor to be a great salesman. Not to be disingenuous, but you've got to take on a role to give the prospect what their expectation is. Popeye was right, folks. I am what I am. Be yourself. Be comfortable in your own skin. Perception is reality. What do they think about you when you're on the phone? Are you a goofy salesperson, a clown, or are you a professional? Are you like their doctor, their lawyer, a trusted advisor? Never act like a salesperson. Turn the prospect into the salesperson. Why? Because it makes sales so much easier. You basically get the prospect to do all the work. They qualify themselves. They tell you how much money they have, what they need, when they need it, and you find out. No, and this is a biggie here, Henry, no scripts. I get a lot of people in sales and they use scripts that are given to them from their sales manager. I don't believe in scripts. Okay? We use a method, a system, and analysis. Canned speeches. Henry, when you hear someone call you up and they're giving a canned speech, don't you know it right away?
Oh, yeah.
I think the prospect picks up on it very quickly. I think that a salesperson loses credibility because the prospect's going, oh, they're reading from something. Does your doctor read a script? You need to become more of a therapist in sales. You've got to learn to listen to people, ask questions with redirection, get them emotionally involved. You can't do that with a script, Henry. I said this once to my to Max. Max, I have a personality conflict with my prospect. Do you know what he said?
What?
Claude, there are no personality conflicts in sales. You give the prospect whatever they need if you need to make a paycheck today. If your prospect is a Democrat, you become a Democrat, or you stay out of politics, actually. You do not have to make the prospect like you. You have to make them respect you. You've got to have a dialogue. And you have to find out what you're talking about, what is the objective, what is it they want. Maybe it's nothing, then you get to fire them. But don't get into personalities. politics and things like that with your prospects. If you know you're there to go, the only reason you're there with your prospect is to make a sale. Sales is not a place where you're going to get your personal some of your needs met at that day. It's about making a paycheck today. Rehearsal. This is one of the new techniques that we just recently developed in gut sales. Okay, did you ever get a situation where the prospect says, Henry, I want to do this real estate deal. I like you. I like it. Everything's good. I think you've answered all my questions. I just need to talk to my board of directors, my partner, my spouse. And then you get off the phone and you have no control in the process. How do you handle that? You rehearse with the prospect. You train them to be a gut salesperson, and you set a time frame for them to get back to you. Henry, you're going to speak to your lovely bride tonight. Is she going to, basically, she's going to kill you and not want to do this transaction. What are you going to say to her? And then you role play, just like we've done today. You practice. Maybe you teach them some of the guts move so that they're prepared, and you have a better chance of making a close or commitment. And that is the rehearsal, Henry. Gosh, I could do a seminar on that one, too. That's such good. All this stuff is going to be in this package, by the way, that we're talking about here. Can I talk about this now, Henry, or is it too early?
Well, it's a little bit too early. What I want to do, Claude, is just see if anybody wanted to come on and maybe either ask one question or maybe do a little quick role play.
Okay.
So if somebody can,
let the folks come on in the remaining time. That'd be a lot of fun. Great.
Yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to do. So if somebody would like to, go ahead and come on, just go ahead and, pop up your hand. Either raise your hand or you can go ahead and type it in. But if you want to raise your hand, okay. Elijah, he's going to go ahead and come on. So I'm going to unmute you, Elijah. Make sure you're in a quiet environment. So let's see right here.
Can everybody hear what his question is?
We'll see. Yep.
Okay, go ahead, Elijah.
Okay, Claude and Henry, I got a question. What if the customer says you're the 10th person or the 20th person that called them today or whatever? How do you handle that?
Called them about what? The same thing, the same product or service?
Let's say about insurance.
Oh, okay. And you say basically, you know what? I can't imagine what that's. Let's role play it. I can't imagine what that's like for you, sir. All these annoying salespeople calling you. If I had that many people call me, I'd be hanging up like crazy. Why do you think we're all calling you? Why am I calling you today, sir? Why do I have your number here? Can you help me out?
I don't know.
Wait, well, is this Elijah at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
That's right. That's me.
Did you contact? Do you have some insurance needs maybe to protect your family? Maybe you're underinsured. Maybe this isn't about protecting your family. You're not the breadwinner, are you?
I am the breadwinner, yes.
Oh, you are the breadwinner. What's going to happen when you're hit by a bus full of nuns crossing the street? Is your wife and children, your kids going to be able to go to college? Is your wife going to be able to pay off the mortgage and live in the style she's accustomed to? Is that the reason you contacted us today, sir? Because if not, I'll get off the phone. I don't want to be a bother.
I remember contacting you, but...
Oh, okay. Well, then how did I get your number, sir? You obviously don't want insurance, don't want to protect your family, and you have before I go, sir, one last question. What insurance company is covering you right now?
Prudential.
Okay. And how much life insurance do you have, sir?
50,000.
50,000. And you struck me as a professional. Are you a lawyer or a doctor? Somebody makes 6 figures a year?
Yes.
Do you want me to tell you the truth or lie to you before I go, sir?
Tell me the truth, always.
You sure? You're not going to get mad at me, promise?
I promise.
I know I'm the 10th salesman to call you, and you're probably sick of me already, too. But you know what? Your family's in trouble. Your family's in danger. You're underinsured because $50,000 for a man who's making $100,000 a year is not going to last your family 6 months. I'm very scared for your family. Sir, would it be worth me coming over to your house for 15 minutes? I'll bring pizza or Chinese food. You pick.
Sounds good. I can do that.
Okay, boom. So off the role play. I was a little over the top there, Henry, but I wanted to have fun. Don't be a defensive amateur salesman. Go back, say, hey, look, and you saw what I did there. I don't know if that answered your question, Elijah, but the point is go down with the fight. You need to make the commission. Find some way to connect with this person. Find their emotional trigger. What did I talk about? His family, underinsured. Kid's not going to go to college, not enough money to protect. I found some emotional trigger. I'm going to hammer in on it, and I'm going to get that appointment. Good question. Thank you for asking. Do we have another, Henry? That was fun.
Yeah, that was good. Thank you. Okay. Like I said, you can raise your hand if you have any other questions, and just in regards with role playing, if you want. Lou, I know you asked a lot of good questions too, so if you want to come in, that's fine, or anyone else. But that's the key thing, Claude, is talking to enough people. That's one of the most important things. Every day, if we're in sales, you guys, you have to talk to enough people. And like what Claude mentioned, you're going to go through 75%. Lou had mentioned, he'd asked a question, Claude, and he was mentioning what your closing ratio is if you did 100 calls. Now, obviously, everybody's different, but would you have some sort of estimate, Claude, to say, hey, listen, Claude, how many calls do I need to do to get X amount?
Do I have to tell the truth or lie? The truth of the matter is that, and I'm going to take a step backwards here because this is not a we need to do a marketing and technology webinar someday, Henry.
We will.
That would answer this question, but I'll be very brief. You have to set up a marketing program so that you have, obviously, more warm prospects than cold calls, okay? I talked extensively about converting the cold call to warm calls by acting like you're getting back to the person. Okay, you have their name and number, you ask questions, and maybe they'll be either curious or they'll say, oh, I forgot, I must have contacted you. But the essence of sales is not to make 100 phone calls. It's to make a few phone calls and have a very high close ratio. When I'm dealing with warm calls, my close ratio goes through the roof. It's much, much higher with warm calls for people who have an interest in your product or service. You have to actually develop a marketing system so that people are coming to you, not you going to them all the time. And you want where the prospect has, and I use something called incentives. I tell people, if you've seen my YouTube videos, call me, I answer my own phone. What's the definition of marketing, Henry? One word answer. Reaction.
Action, that's right. Massive action.
Reaction. We need people to react. What is the best prospecting call in the world? Where the prospect calls us. Why do you guys think at the end of all my YouTubes, I say, call me, I answer my own phone? Honestly, do you think I can answer every call? Of course not. I do try, and many of you who've tried to reach me, you get me on the phone. You're going to get my secretary. You might get my kids. You might even get my lovely wife. But you're going to get somebody. Once in a while, you get voicemail too. The thing is, I'm giving a challenge out there. People are curious. Do you think he really answers his own phone? If I can get the prospect to react, then I get enough warm calls. Or if I offer something for free, a free book, a free CD, a free training session, whatever is pertinent to your business, attract the prospects into your world, and your close ratio with the gut system will go through the roof. But if you're just making 100 phone calls a day, that's like work. And we want a higher close ratio. Good question. I'm sorry to be so brief here, but I'm trying to watch the time here.
Right. Well, Bill had asked this question here, and we can role play this situation here.
Okay.
One of the things he asked is, Claude, are you one of those investors that's going to try to sell my property?
Oh, let's role play that. Yes. Okay. Well, let me ask you. You must have brought that up for a reason, Mr. Prospect. I'm a private investor. I look for either price or terms. Why did you ask me that question? Help me out, sir. I'm not sure if I understand.
Oh, well, I'm just, see all
the pressure on you. Did you see your hesitation?
Yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's the thing. I'm trying to come up with an answer.
You're going OS. I don't know what the answer is. Why did I even ask him that question? Now you're on the spot. Who's got the stress here?
Well, then you threw it back onto me, because I
questioned
you, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, you threw it back onto me at that point.
I threw it right back on you. You've got all the stress. And that's the beautiful thing. Guts makes selling stress-free. We know what to do. We know how to ask questions. It does take practice. It does take time. I don't want people to think this is, get rich quick. This takes a lot of time to practice guts, but it's so much better than just knocking on doors all day long. Let's do that role play one more time. That was fun. You must have asked that for a reason, Mr. Serrano. Could you help me out here? Not sure if I understand.
Well, yeah, just, I'm getting a lot of phone calls from all these investors, wanting to try to sell my house, and they can't.
Oh, okay. But and do you really want to sell your house, or there's no rush about it, right? If it's 6 months from now, it's not a problem, right?
No, I need to get rid of it right now.
Why is that, sir? Help me out.
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
getting a job transfer, and my wife and family have already moved, so I need to move out of here in a couple of months.
oh, well, why don't you just leave the home and go? What's the big deal? Don't you have somebody in the family can look after it or something like that?
No, I don't.
Well, what's the problem then? Obviously, you're a man of means, and having an empty mortgage for 5, 10, 12 months, what's the big deal? Couldn't be that much. You don't have a mortgage on it, right?
No, I do.
Oh, you do? It's not costing you a lot, though. You've paid it off. It's like $100 a month or something?
No, it's $1,400 a month.
What? $1,400? That's a lot of money. You know, I had a friend. Oops, and I'm going to stop the role play. Then you go into a third-party story. Third-party stories, we don't have the time today also. It's in my materials. Third-party stories are very powerful for getting the prospect emotionally involved. Back in the role play. You know, Henry, I have a friend, same situation. House had to move, job transfer. The other house he couldn't sell, sat empty for 10 months, $1,500 a month, cost him. I mean, he lost his shirt, put stress on the marriage. He always had to fly back and forth and everything like that. Unbelievable. I hope you don't have to go through something like that. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I don't want to go through something like that.
But you still don't want to do a transaction with me today, even if I could assure you that your costs would be met, your property would be taken care of. If we could do that, how would you feel about this? If I could give you personal assurances to your satisfaction, what would happen next? So you can move and join your family and not worry about this property and not lose $15,000, $20,000 in payments on an empty home.
Well, what's next then, Claude?
I'm sorry, what?
Well, what would be next then?
See, all I've got to do is raise your temperature, get you emotionally involved, hit the hot button on you. If I can get you up to an 8, 9, or 10, I can do business with you now, today. But we don't want to play that game where you attacked me. What did you say in the very beginning? What was that attack?
Yeah, well, here's one attack that may come up and say, hey, Claude, what are you trying to do? Steal my property?
Only if you'll let me, sir. Are you in the mood to let someone steal your home? See, it's a silly question. Have fun with it. Don't get defensive. Don't get emotionally. See, they're trying to get us emotionally involved. He's acting like a little bitty child or something, and he's trying to take the ball and go home. And the amateur salesperson is going to get emotional, going to get defensive, going to say something nasty back. I'm not going to fall into that game, that trap. Okay? I'm going to stay intellectual up here, controlling, be like Mr. Spock, okay? I even have another time, I have the Mr. Spock ears. I was going to put them on. Let's go back in that role play. Say that again to me.
Well, Claude, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to steal my property?
Well, why would I want to do that, sir? Do you want me to steal your property? Is that the way we're going to do business today?
Well, no, but you're offering such a low amount.
Sir, and you're right. And like I said, I either need a wholesale price or I need terms. If you're not comfortable with that price, it's okay to say no to me. We'll still be friends. So you don't want to do that price, you're not comfortable with it, and it's over. Is that what I'm hearing, sir?
Yes.
Good. See, it's over when I say it's over. Now I go back and fix it. But I can't let him bully me. I can't let him attack me. Do you see how he was trying to – great role play, by the way. How you were trying to make me subservient to you. And I didn't fall in that trap. Guess it's over, sir. But you came to me with a problem. You said you need to sell your home. You don't want to give it away. You want a full retail price. And I respect that, sir. If it was my property, I'd want the full value on it too. But you have a problem. You're moving away. So if I made you an offer on terms as a rent-to-own or subject to, could we do that today instead? Could we discuss it?
Yes.
Okay. And if you don't like that, I want you to say just flat out no to me. I'm not comfortable with it, Claude. I'm not trying to steal your home, sir. I'm trying to do business today that meets with my profit expectations and meets with your needs. Is that fair? Is that a good way to do business, Mr. Serrano?
No, it is.
Don't you love me? Do you hear how I'm using my words? There's a brilliant video about the blind man in the street in England, and the lady changes his signs, and all of a sudden everybody's throwing money, and his old sign said, I'm blind, please help. And the lady changes the sign. It says, it's a beautiful day. I wish I could see it. Do you see how if you change your words and change your thinking, you control the whole environment in sales, and you have fun, and you go to the bank, and you don't get the whip marks all day long on your back? Isn't that a better way to sell, Henry?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it much? Even in these role plays, can't you see the difference?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. You stay in control that whole time.
Exactly. Do we want to do our really we got a super duper deal here. Do we want to do that real quick and then maybe take one or two more role plays?
Yeah, no, that's great.
Ladies, I'm just going to go right here. You knew I was going to do this anyway. I have a brand new package that'll be out August 1st.
September 1st.
September 1st, excuse me. You're right, September 1st, correction. And it's a brand new package. We call it the Gut Sales Method. It's the 2014 update. A lot of the things that we spoke about today are going to be in this package, and it's humongous. This is the largest, most comprehensive gut sales training package I've ever put together. It has, there's my good old buddy Joe and that role play I talked about earlier. We are going to have 50 hours of new, underline the word new, live training videos. These are going to be recorded cold calls, all new role plays. Why? Because I know you guys love those role plays. In fact, Henry, we're talking about a seminar in San Diego later this year, aren't we, where we're just going to do role playing and take all these different scenarios and have a lot of fun with a lot of good food and adult libations in San Diego. Weren't we talking about that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I'm going to tell you, that's going to be a great event, you guys, there in San Diego. You know, when we
haven't planned it yet, but it's something on our mind. I'm going to have 50 hours of brand new training videos that you can watch and download or convert to audio and listen on your iPad or iPod or whatever. You are going to love, and these are real training videos with real clients of mine, real sales situations. This is the real world, folks, real situations. We're going to have new organizational mind maps. If you guys know me, I love mind maps because I love having the sheet in front of me. It's organizational. We're going to have about the guts investigation, something brand new in 2014. We're going to go into greater detail on guts, breeds, and needs. We're going to go into the transactional analysis. You guys know I love to psychobabble a lot, but I want to keep it simple. And I want to talk about why the prospects give us such a hard time sometimes. Why do they play these games? So we're going to have a lot of organizational mind maps. We're going to have a new step-by-step training videos where I'm going to go on basically from one topic to the other in great specific detail on the agenda, qualification, commitment, close, redirection in greater detail on videos. And we're going to have those also. I can't tell you how many hours because I haven't made them yet, but they're going to be part of this package on September the 1st. We're going to have sales call transcripts, something different, where some people like to actually read what a sales. Henry, do you like to read?
Yeah, some of the stuff I do.
Sales?
Yeah, some of the stuff I do like to read. I mean, that's one of the things I like to do whenever I'm on a long trip or on an airplane or something. So
yeah, exactly. So instead of listening to it, you can read the transcript of, just like those role plays we did today, you can actually read them. So we're going to have sales call transcripts. We're going to have something I've been working on for gosh knows how long. I've been promising it for a while. The 2014 Guts Manual. It's going to be called Chutzpah Sales and Success Methods. The Contemporary Guide for Creating Wealth in the Art and Science of Persuasion with Unmitigated Gall. Okay, this is going to be my new book. This will also be in the package. It's going to be well over 100 pages, I believe. But wait, there's more. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. What was the name of this guy? I loved him.
Billy
Mays. Billy Mays was a great salesman. But wait, there's more. And the Guts package, I'm going to be selling it on September the 1st. I'm going to be selling it. It's already on my webpage, matter of fact. $995 is that package. But, Henry, tell them what we're going to do. I'll let you take it from this point.
Well, one of the things I'm going to tell you guys, I'm very visual, but Claude has covered everything. Someone who's visual, someone essentially who likes to read, or even audio. Those are some things you'll be able to transcribe. The key thing here, guys, is you have a complete package and a system. Now you know what to do when you go out there and you talk to these prospects. It has totally turned my business around. And this is something here that is worth, I mean, just the videos alone, Claude, are worth a lot of money. I mean, over 50 hours, you guys. Incredible.
It might even be more, Henry. We're saying right now 50 hours. It might be more. And these are role-playing and cold calls. These are training sessions. It's going to be a comprehensive digital package. It'll be in Dropbox, so you can download and listen to it whenever you want. For those of you familiar with Dropbox, you can listen on your iPhone, your iPad, your laptop. You have access to this in so many different media, and this is all new stuff. This is not stuff from YouTube or stuff that you've gotten before from previous packs. This is the new stuff from the secret vault, and it's contemporary. Tell them the good news, Henry. We haven't even told them the big. But wait, there's more. What are we going to do for these nice folks today?
Well, a couple of things. The reason why we've got people here that are live, and the reason why we're doing this too right now, and we're pre-ordering this too, is that we're knocking it down half off, Claude. You know, for 50%. Essentially, they're able to get this whole kit here, the works, so to speak, everything within Gut Sales. They're able to get. I'm going to send in the link to everybody there if they want to go ahead and get it. When you click on it, at that point, you guys, you will go ahead and there'll be a video that'll come up, but you have to scroll to the very bottom to go ahead and order. But it's half off, you know, and it's only going to be this week because starting at this point, we're going to be doing the big promotion here coming up next week there in August. And then on the 1st, you'll be able to have it right there. But just this week only, Claude, is what we're doing right now.
This week, and so you're literally going to save close to $500, and this is a legitimate, righteous promotion, folks. After this, it's because I've worked really hard on this. It's a lot of time and effort put into this. But if you love the Gut Sales system, if you want to have control, if you want to have fun, if you want to make a lot of money, invest in your tools, invest in your training. Oh, I forgot to tell the folks. This will come with also a training session. So after you digest this material, if you want to have a training session, now let's do 3 training sessions. How about that? 3 training sessions with yours truly on Skype live, and we'll record your training session for your vault, okay? And we can either make phone calls together or role play. You can come back to me with the problem. So not only are you going to get the whole package, boy, I do sound like Billy Mays, don't I? Not only are you going to get the whole package, you're going to get the manual, you're going to get 50 hours of training, you're going to get the organizational mind maps, the transcripts, the back to the basic training videos, and you're going to get the, what else? And you're going to get it for half price this week only. And Henry's going to send you a link, and that's enough of that long commercial. I always hate these guys who go too long on this, but this has taken me years to put this together. I've been waiting a real long time, and this is going to change everything on sales. Let's, I think we covered it. You're going to send them an email if they want to buy it. That's fine. If not, you're also going to send them a copy of this training video, aren't you, Henry?
Correct. Yeah. Right now, though, I do have it. There's a link in there, Claude, that they can click on right now to go to the page for them to order.
That's great.
So
that's great. So let's do we have another question? I'd like to take maybe 1 or 2 questions, or do we have enough time here? We've got about 6 minutes?
You know, we're going to be coming on the 2-hour mark here in about 8 minutes, but that's fine. But we can take another question. So if anybody else has
one quick question, and then I want to just do a really brief summary.
Okay. Okay, let's see right in here. Trying to go through all of them right now.
Oh my gosh, that many questions?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, folks. We should have taken more.
Well, 2 hours is pretty good. I mean, that's, you know, it's definitely pretty good. Let me.
The voice is starting to go. That's why I drink a lot of sleepy time.
Yep, you need to. Okay, one of the questions that they have here, let me pick this one right here, is, okay, this one's a real estate question.
Go for it.
They're asking regards with what happens at the end of the lease option when the leasee cannot qualify for the, when they cannot qualify for the mortgage. Now, this is more of a lease options question than
it's a lease option question. I'd like to stay on the topic with Guts, frankly, but to answer it succinctly, your contracts are the most important. Henry and I didn't we do a webinar on lease purchasing in June or something? And I think We answered that question. The bottom line, folks, is your contracts have to protect you. You don't make promises you can't keep. You hook up your tenant buyer with a mortgage lender so that they know ahead of time what's going to happen, and you make sure that you have disclaimers and releases that you're not liable for making promises that you can't keep. So you tell the prospect or the tenant buyer up front what's going to happen, just like in guts. This is what's going to happen. You're going to have to repair your credit. You're going to have to save down payment. You're going to go to my mortgage lender and get some good advice, and the responsibility is yours, and that's as much as I can do on a lease purchase. You're honest. You're upfront, just like in guts. Tell them what's going to happen so there's no surprises, and guess what happens? When you're dealing with people intelligently, honestly, and upfront, and they know what's going to happen, it's a beautiful way to sell. One more question, Henry?
Yep, I've got one here. Here's the sales question. Should I do a presentation if the spouse is not there? So should I do a face-to-face presentation if the spouse is not there?
Well, if the product you sell is made by both parties, you got to before you give the presentation or before you get in front of the prospect, is it in person or on the phone? I'd love to know the difference.
He said in person. If it's in person.
The thing is, what I would ask the husband or the wife, I say, what's your decision-making process? I ask my wife everything. I'm not going to spend any money and start a fight in my family. So let me ask you something, sir. In my family, I usually discuss financial investments of this type with my wife. How does your family, what's the dynamic of your family? Can you make a unilateral decision, or is this something your wife is going to be involved in? Should she be here? If you know these are traditional problems in your particular industry, deal with them up front. Even tell them, Mr. Prospect, in all my experience, I've never seen a husband yet who bought a $100,000 yacht without talking to his wife first. Do you think Mrs. Prospect should be here so we don't have to do this all over again, so we can answer your questions? Does that make sense, sir? And I'd be glad to accommodate you. Would you both like to join me for dinner? And so we could sit together, get to know each other, and you feel good about me, and I can answer both your questions at the same time. How do you feel about that, Mr. Serrano? Before you buy this yacht, can I take you and your lovely bride to dinner?
Sure.
Boom. Find a way to fix it, to make it work, but don't set yourself up where the guy says, now I got to talk to my wife, and then you have to come back, give the presentation all over again, and then they say they think about it. That's old-style selling. Guts is about you're in business to make money today, not to give these redundant presentations. It's a great question. I'd love to spend another 30 minutes on it.
Well, that's
Henry,
the thing.
Do we have time for one more, or should we get out of here?
No, we've got time. Hey, do you guys want to stick around for a little bit longer? I don't think hopefully GoToWebinar won't cut it off, but if they cut it off, they cut it off.
Well, that's my voice might be giving out pretty soon on this, and I do want, if we want to take one or two role plays, that's fine. I would like to just end in a summary and then say goodbye to everybody. As far as that goes, is that all right with you?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Let's see here.
I'm so glad you're moderating, by the way. Thank you. This webinar is only as good because of the assistance of Henry Serrano. Henry's a licensee, and he's my technician and helping me with marketing so that I can spend as much time answering your questions, ladies and gentlemen. So a round of applause to you, Henry. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
That's a stroke.
Yeah, thank you, Claude. Yeah, Bill brought up a very good point. He says when you listen and read transcripts at the same time, it's time as effective. So I don't know if that was a point or a question. So when you listen to read transcripts at the same time, it's time as effective.
Thank you, Bill. It's really funny. I have books that I've read. When you can order a book, you can get the audio book too. And right. I go through a lot of books and sometimes, Bill, I do exactly that because I find that my absorption rate is much better by reading and listening at the same time. If I can my biggest problem is getting the speed on the audio to go the right way I like to read. But that's a very good suggestion. It
is, yeah, because like you mentioned, it's twice as effective. So
it's a very good tip. Thank you for sharing that with us. Anything else, Henry? Because I'm going to wind this. I'd like to wind this up at the top of the hour.
Now he was asking real quick. Lou had asked, "Will your product or will the gut sales show me how to create warm leads?"
Suppose I said yes, Lou. What would you say to me next? See, I practice what I preach. Yes, it will deal definitely with generating more leads, getting people to call you. Marketing, I deal a lot with marketing. I believe in contemporary marketing, not old. We do a little bit of old school, but modern marketing has changed so much where we're using social networking and different technology. We have to make the prospects come into us like a moth to a light. We've got to create interest, curiosity, desire, okay, anticipation. Remember the ketchup commercial? We've got to make prospects interested in us. Right now we're a stranger. They don't know who we are. And if we create certain incentives like free information, free products, or things like that, and we get enough warm prospects, that's just a great way to sell. Returning calls or receiving calls from warm prospects makes your life so much better. And yes, the package does deal with that, absolutely. And Henry, we have to do another webinar just on marketing and just on the technology because it's changing so often.
It is, and I'm going to tell you guys, it has exploded. If you guys want us to do another webinar on marketing, just put in yes real quick, and we'll see some of the responses, that we get. But yeah, that's definitely that we'll focus on is another webinar just on marketing, is what we'll end up doing, with that.
And that reminded me of something negative on the gut sales. So should I share something that's negative?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Well, the thing about guts is we qualify people so quickly. We go through a lot of prospects, all the time wasters, all the tire kickers. We get rid of them politely. We put them in our database. Maybe we follow up. That's part of the system we talk about. But in guts, you've got to have a marketing system to generate enough prospects because we get rid of them. We don't waste our time, our natural resources on people who will never do business with us. So that's the beauty of guts. But so hand in hand, we need a lot of prospects to make guts work.
Yep.
Good point.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Well, if you want, Claude, I think that's just about it. If you want to go ahead and start wrapping up.
Yeah, I just would like to.
Here.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to thank everybody. This was a lot of fun. I love this business. I come from a real estate background, and I love, and sales was the answer for me being successful. I've had other businesses, and it was always going to come back to sales. And the trouble is, most sales is old-fashioned. It's contentious, it's argumentative, and it's demeaning to both you and the prospects. I desired guts so that we would have a simple three-step system so we would understand the psychology of both ourselves and the prospects, so we would have control, so we wouldn't be submissive or subservient to the prospects, so we would have fun and no hesitation in picking up these phones. Because if we talk to enough people and we have control of the process, we go to the bank, we make more money. We need a system to make it work. Guts takes work. It takes a little practice. But, oh, my gosh, is it worth it, ladies and gentlemen. It changed my life. It made it so I'm in Colorado right now in the mountains. I live in San Diego. We have a place in Hawaii. Our bills are paid. My children's college was paid. And it was because I worked smarter. I spent my time with more viable prospects. We have better relationships. It's honest. It's direct. And all you've got to do is learn the system, study the system, and embrace it. And your life will change. Your profits will change. And sales will be fun again. And that, to me, I don't think anybody ever uses the word fun in sales. Because when you make a sale, I always said this, when you make a sale, it's the second best feeling in the world. I'm not going to go in detail here. Ask Henry if you need answers there. But the thing is, have sale, learn the system, learn agenda, qualification, commitment close, learn redirection, learn positive and negative questions, learn how to stand up for yourself and have fun, and your life will change. Henry, thank you for putting this together, as always, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is a lot of fun for me to teach it, and I hope it helps you. Everybody have a great weekend.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Have a good weekend. And like I said, you'll be having the recording here probably sometime next week. But thank you very much. See you, Claude.
Thank you, and thank you, Henry.
Okay, bye-bye.